Chapter 189, Above the Forbidden's Region. At that moment, the sea of purple light in the sky was constantly colliding with the black array formation. No one was controlling them, but it was obvious that the difference in their uses made it impossible for them to coexist. Just like the 6 cultivators fighting at the fish head. A longsword danced in Ding Xiaohuai's hand, blooming one sword flower after another formed by the sea transformation art. Every one of them contained astonishing killing intent. He also used a talisman, and coupled with his spell, it formed an area that was like a sea area. This allowed him to match the strength of the sea corpse race member. However, anomalous substances and corpse poison were the sea corpse race's main weapons in addition to their savage character. Ding Xiaohuai was being pushed back gradually. However, he still had a trump card. As for the captain, the spear in his hand moved like a dragon. It was extremely fast and its style kept on changing. Upon closer inspection, it looked like he was embroidering or carving with it as he moved around the sea corpse cultivators. He was clearly at ease. In fact, he didn't even cast a spell or perform a seal. Instead, he took an apple and took a bite from time to time. He even had the time and energy to cheer Ding Xiaohuai on. "Senior brother Ding, good job. Senior brother Ding is mighty. All the best, senior brother Ding." So after cheering for Ding Xiaohuai, the captain was about to cheer for Xu Qing as well. However, just as his gaze swept over, his eyes and mouth widened, almost causing the apple to fall. Xu Qing was holding a dagger in his hand. His speed was so fast that he was leaving after images. He was slashing the sea corpse race cultivator, while scattering a large amount of poison powder at close range. It was as though he was testing his poison path. While testing the poison, his dagger cut forcefully, cutting off piece after piece of flesh from the sea corpse race cultivator's body. The body of the sea corpse cultivator was clearly missing most of the flesh, revealing his bones. As for the ground, it was covered in blue flesh and blood. As for Xu Qing's expression, it didn't change at all. Even though the surroundings were filled with blue blood and it was a shocking sight, his expression was still serious as he continued to attack. In reality, Xu Qing didn't think of this happening either. This sea corpse race cultivator in front of him didn't seem to know pain, and most of the poison was useless against him. Even though his neck had been slit, his attacks were still ruthless. It was as though he didn't care about his life. He would often risk being injured to counterattack fiercely. The red light in his eyes seemed like it wanted to tear Xu Qing apart. At the same time, waves of spell fluctuations erupted from his body. The essence of these fluctuations wasn't spirit energy but anomalous substances. They formed black foggy ghost faces in the surroundings, which pounced toward Xu Qing. Xu Qing wasn't afraid of anomalous substances, but he didn't want to be exposed here. Hence, while dodging with his speed, he also took out a talisman to protect himself. However, a frown appeared on his face. He discovered that even though the other party was injured to such an extent, he was still savage. This caused Xu Qing's killing intent to intensify. While moving around, he stabbed fiercely at the other party's head. A red light flashed in the eyes of the sea corpse race cultivator. He suddenly raised his right hand and welcomed the attack. With the help of his bones, the instant the dagger was stuck, the sea corpse race cultivator suddenly opened its mouth and bit at Xu Qing. Xu Qing's gaze was sharp. He decided not to dodge and directly slammed his head into the other party. The mouth of the sea corpse race member collapsed, his teeth broke, and half of his head shattered under the intense impact. Xu Qing continued to slash. The arms were cut off. The stomach was cut again. The rotting internal organs turned into corpse fluid and flowed out. This kind of injury and cruel attacks caused the eyes of the sea corpse race, which was about to be dismembered, to reveal a rare fear. All of this was the reason why the captain's apple almost fell off. It wasn't that the sea corpse race didn't have emotions, but their emotions were relatively simple. However, no matter how simple it was, the sensation brought about by death was still terrifying. This sea corpse race cultivator no longer wanted to continue fighting and tried to escape. However, Xu Qing didn't agree. He charged forward and got close again. As the dagger danced, a large number of water droplets formed a barrier in all directions, enveloping the sea corpse race member. Amidst the rumbling, the terror in the sea corpse race's eyes grew increasingly intense. He felt the 7 blood eyes disciple in front of him was strange. His anomalous substances were useless against this person. From what he knew, this was impossible. Even those heaven chosen from the various races who didn't have any anomalous substances in their bodies were only pure in their bodies. It wasn't that they weren't afraid of anomalous substances. If they were thrown into the forbidden zones, they would still be invaded by the anomalous substances. However, the anomalous substances disappeared as they invaded this person in front of him, as though they were being devoured. At the same time, the corpse poison that the sea corpse race was proud of was also useless against this person. It was as though the other party wasn't afraid of it at all. On the contrary, the other party's poison attacks caused his mind to be unstable. As for the body, because the sea corpse race wasn't afraid of pain, most of them had powerful bodies. However, the other party seemed to be even stronger. There was also the recovery ability. Due to the uniqueness of the sea corpse race, their recovery ability far surpassed that of other races. However, at that moment, he felt that he was actually inferior to the other party in this aspect. What kind of bizarre existence is this? 1. The eyes of the sea corpse race cultivator flickered with an intense red light. Xu Qing had already closed in. As he brandished his dagger, the ground was soon covered in blue blood again. Not long later, as Xu Qing's dagger crumbled under the corrosion of the other party's anomalous substances and corpse poison, the sea corpse cultivator seized the opportunity and wanted to flee. However, a black cold light instantly chased after him and pierced through his chest. It was the black iron stick. The instant it pierced through the chest of the sea corpse race, the power of the artifact spirit in the iron stick erupted, forming foundation-building fluctuations that directly destroyed this weak body that was already riddled with holes. The body of the sea corpse race member directly exploded and scattered to the ground. At the same time, the black iron stick suddenly returned to Xu Qing's hand. All the bloodstains on it automatically disappeared as though they had been absorbed. The captain looked at the dismembered sea corpse race on the ground and then at the black iron stick in Xu Qing's hand. Finally, he noticed that Xu Qing was looking at him and instantly felt a little embarrassed. The spear in his hand suddenly distorted and transformed into a stream of water that headed straight for the sea corpse race cultivator fighting him. After an instant of contact, the water quickly cooled around the enemy and let off an astonishing cold air. In the blink of an eye, the water turned into ice, sealing the sea corpse race inside and turning him into a lump of ice. This cold seemed to be able to injure one's soul. Xu Qing's eyes narrowed. He could faintly sense danger from this ice and knew that this wasn't ordinary ice. It should contain some unknown power. Xu Qing, do you see this? You have to be artistic when killing people. You can't rely on brute force alone. The captain coughed and lifted his chin as he proudly took a bite of the apple. He walked forward and knocked on the ice lump. Immediately, cracks spread out and the ice lump collapsed, and the sea corpse race cultivator inside also turned into pieces. This scene caused Xu Qing to be even more vigilant. The perfected check condensation realm of the sea corpse race cultivators clearly surpassed the human races. To be able to kill them so easily was enough to prove that the captain was stronger. Also, I think your spell can be improved. You can try to fuse poison into your water droplets. This should make it more powerful. The captain glanced at the ground around Xu Qing and said. When Xu Qing heard this, he fell into deep thought. He felt that what the captain said made sense and nodded seriously. Seeing that his words had once again established a powerful image of him in Xu Qing's mind, the captain was happy. Let's go, we have to hurry. If we're late, I'm afraid that Kid John-san will be gone. As the captain spoke, he headed straight for the fish eyes. As for Ding Xiaowei, he didn't bother with him. Xu Qing didn't bother with him either. As he followed the captain, the image of the captain's attack appeared in his mind as he pondered over his inadequacy and the captain's suggestion. Captain, are sea corpse race cultivators corpses? When they were about to reach the fisheye, Xu Qing asked. It was rare to hear Xu Qing raise a question. The captain's eyes lit up and he coughed. After glancing at Xu Qing, he calmly spoke. The value of this question. Xu Qing handed over a large apple. It was larger than the one he had eaten in front of the captain previously. The captain paused and mumbled a few words before accepting the apple and taking a bite. All right, seeing that you're my team member, I'll tell you. The sea corpse race is a race of revived corpses. Their bodies are very strange. Their clan's territory is at the edge of the 9th Forbidden region. Do you know what the Forbidden Region is? The captain looked at Xu Qing. Forbidden Zone, Xu Qing asked. The place the god looks at when he opens his eyes will turn into a forbidden zone. Then what if the god opens his eyes and the place he looks at is a forbidden zone? The captain's expression was deep. Xu Qing's heart stirred. He hadn't thought of this question before. After pondering for a moment, his eyes gleamed. The forbidden zone that the god looks at will be filled with anomalous substances once again, crossing a certain boundary. Hence it becomes a forbidden region. The difference between a forbidden zone and a forbidden region is huge. The captain took a bite of the apple and continued to speak. In the forbidden zone, most of the existences are ferocious beasts or bizarre entities. However, in the forbidden region, new intelligent races can be born. According to the records of the Seven Blood Eyes, there are at least 15 forbidden regions in the entire world. Some of the races in these forbidden zones are known to the outside world, while others are extremely mysterious. In the Endless Sea, there is a forbidden region known as the Corpse Forbiddens. The Sea Corpse race was born in the periphery of that place, and the Nanhuang continent we are in also has a forbidden region. That's the Phoenix Forbiddens. You should have heard that there is an emperor in the Phoenix Forbiddens called the Flame Phoenix. It is a top-notch divine creature in this world. Although there is a huge difference between it and the god, it is also a similar existence. This Flame Phoenix was born in the Phoenix Forbiddens. When Xu Qing heard the captain's words, intense waves stirred in his heart. At that moment, as the captain's voice rang out, another layer of mystery of this world seemed to have been lifted. Then what if the god opens his eyes and looks at the forbidden region? Xu Qing suddenly asked. The captain was silent and didn't speak until he reached the deep pit where the fisheye was. The moment he jumped down, his voice rang out faintly. Since ancient times, there have only been for records of the god looking at the forbidden region. I also don't know what kind of changes happened to the forbidden regions, but I know that their name is no longer the forbidden region, but the divine realm.